Probably the biggest misconception about online teaching is that there is one way to do it well, that there's some magic combination of activities that unlock online learning. This just isn't the case. The best way to teach online is to teach your best. Every teacher has his or her own approach to teaching. You know your students, you know how to reach them. You know your content and the methods that work best for your course and your discipline. All of that doesn't change when you go online. You may need to learn a few new technical skills, you may need to reconfigure your course or figure out how to put the pieces together in a different way to work well in an asynchronous environment. But don't lose sight of the qualities that make you a good teacher. Those are the same qualities that will make you a good online teacher as well. In the following video clips, you'll meet 3 teachers who share their online teaching strategies. You'll notice how different their personalities are and how differently they approach the challenge. We hope that their stories spark ideas for your teaching and give you confidence to just be yourself online. Because every teacher has their own approach. What's yours?
I feel like my role is to try to help students understand that I want the online class to be like a Burkean parlor room. So Kenneth Burke's notion that there's unending conversation in a Burkean parlor room. I want students to be able to enter in understanding that they may lack confidence or they may have some understanding of a topic, but that when they leave, they're going to have contributed something to that conversation, and that they are all supposed to play a role in participating and helping each other kind of understand something new about that topic, to push each other to be more informed on the topic, to find more research on it. And as they enter into discussions or group work, I want them to bring their life experiences, to bring different skill sets that they have in order to further that discussion. So I find myself kind of as a facilitator or coach, but on a more advanced level, if that makes any sense.
The transition from classroom teaching to online teaching was less difficult for me than I thought it would be, simply because I discovered that, that's my approach to classroom teaching is very much a kind of what we might call a task-based, a project-based approach or activity-based, where learners and groups work on tasks and report back on them, and then I kind of scaffold the whole process. It's not lecture-based much. I mean, there may be a little bit of Sage on the stage from time to time, but it's not the major format. And so, of course, online, as you say, it lends itself to that also. And so they're working from the task, they're working on the discussion boards, and the instruction is happening, and the learning is happening 99% through the discussion. And this is what they report too, and we get feedback from the students. Where did the learning take place? It took place primarily on the discussion boards, and to a certain extent on the feedback they get from their assignments. The theory I subscribe to, at least, of learning being a socio-cultural process, and it's one that's mediated through collaboration and through well-placed interventions by the so-called better other, or the whatever you want to call the instructor, so that the instructor's experience is not knowledge is not the starting point of the whole process, but it is there to help scaffold this collaborative discovery process. And I think that's where the discussion boards are quite amazing at being able to facilitate that. And I know people have researched all this sort of stuff, and I'm always constantly amazed at what kind of interventions provoke what kind of responses, and also what kind of peer teaching is going on, and what kind of incidental learning is happening during this very rich, long conversation. So that's it in a nutshell, I guess, my sort of philosophy. That is what I've always tried to institute in my own face-to-face classes. And as I said before, the transition into online was fairly painless from that point of view, because the principles were intact. I didn't really have to adjust them to any great extent.
Well, I think what I what I do, and I think these are the very important things to do. First, I prepare the syllabus, and I post that. But as I had said in the syllabus, I really want to make very clear what the course objectives and goals are, so the students know and try to work towards them throughout the semester to be able to measure accurately what their learning is in the course. I also try to make very explicit what my expectations are for the course in terms of how often they should be responding online, how often they can expect to hear from me online so that they know that too. I think that's really important to clarify because I know when I was once working with a teacher who I was trying to help plan his course, he said, "Oh, I'll be in the course every day." And then, of course, found that that wasn't always possible because he was teaching other things and had other stuff to do. And then students really started to feel disillusioned because they expected him there and he wasn't. So I think it's much better to just be clear, but maybe not tie oneself down altogether because it is an asynchronous environment. So one wants to take advantage of that. So I basically will say, I will be online at least 3 times throughout the week. It could be 3 in the morning. It could be, 11 o'clock in the morning, whatever, but not say every Wednesday at 4 o'clock because that would get rid of the asynchronicity for me. My feeling, one of the joys I have in the asynchronous environment is the fact that one subconscious mind can be carrying on thinking about things. You might read some really great stuff that the students and you are all discussing, and then I can continue to think about it. And if it were a class on campus, I'd say, oh, I have to wait till next Tuesday or whenever the class next meets. But online, I can just go straight back in there when the idea is exciting. Who knows when that's going to be? And just post it right there and then.